House of Commons Standing Committee on Industry, Science and Technology. Pursuant to the order of reference of Saturday, April 11th, the committee is meeting for the purpose of receiving evidence concerning matters related to the government's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd now like to welcome our witnesses. De CyberQuébec, François Perron, Directeur.
From CyberQuébec, François Perron, Director.
From Google Canada, Colin McKay, Head, Government Affairs and Public Policy. From IBM Canada, Eric Johnson, Partner, British Columbia Public Sector, Global Business Services. From mimik, Arjomandi, Founder, President and Chief Executive Officer, and Michel Berger, Chief Technology Officer.
Contact tracing, I'm assuming it's per proximity tracing that we're talking about, what mimik was talking about. I think the position that we've taken is very much, it's a consent model, much to what Faye said. You as the end user should have the decision on whether your data, you opt in or opt out. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
I think you'll hear a lot that I'm about to say that echoes what Madame Arjomandi just said, which is when we're talking specifically about the exposure notification API, there's on-device collection of information that is not shared without the consent of the user. They first have to take the step to download an app and then give permission for that information to be collected. But importantly, the information that's collected about their location is actually anonymized and randomized so that it's not associated with the individual or the device, but rather is a reference point for public health authorities if there happens to be a person that has been notified that they're COVID-19 positive.
Yes, well, there's a lot of clear evidence that your cell phone maintains traces of either its location or some of the flow that has gone through that phone. And with AI, there's a lot more analysis done to what that person is doing or where they've been. Algorithms rather can track a number of things.
Madame Arjomandi, you have 7 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair and esteemed members of the committee. My name is Faye Arjomandi, and I also have Michel Berger, our CTO, on the call. I'm the co-founder, president, and CEO of mimik, a software company based in Vancouver, British Columbia. For the past 10 years, mimik has been pioneering the development of hybrid edge cloud compute and technology that adds cloud capability to device and apps to increase data privacy, reduce infrastructure costs, radically improve real-time interactions. It's eco-friendly and provide access to rural communities. mimik technology is already empowering some innovative companies in health tech, fintech, AI, smart cars, and smart cities. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you as a fellow citizen, entrepreneur, and technologist. Our platform is already being evaluated by large enterprises as part of going back to workplace solution and gaining traction from some of the indigenous community. But we believe with your support, it can be used across Canada and globally for contact tracing. COVID-19 has caused the loss of many Canadian lives, is impacting our economy and the livelihood of our citizens. It has attacked our way of life. Contact tracing is essential to implement intelligent social distancing to send our citizens to go back to work safely and revive our economy. However, it evokes fear of surveillance, privacy abuse, stigmatization, and rightfully so, because solutions implemented by other countries are exactly that. One could say that such solution will be another attack on our way of life. mimik's platform can be used to implement effective contact tracing without compromising citizens' privacy or patients' anonymity, and at the same time avoid many pitfalls along the way. There are 3 important aspects to an effective contact tracing implementation. First is about ensuring adoption. Adoption is poor if citizens have concerns that their personal data, however limited, is being held centrally by any external entity, or that third parties can track their location and access their contact history. Countries like South Korea and Singapore have reported to restored to force to ensure compliance. This is unthinkable in Canada. With our platform, each edge or client device, such as a smartphone, acts as its own server system, capable of receiving, storing, and sending information. The system detects exposure by combining several technology, including network address and Bluetooth proximity. This exposure log is recorded, calculated, and processed locally on each device, eliminating the need to send this information to central system. All devices remain anonymous and the only source of data, putting citizens in complete control of their data. Second is about anonymity in action. Some of the better attempts with contact tracing app preserve anonymity until a positive case is identified. However, as soon as a user is tested positive, the entire contact log from the user can be accessed by central authority. The core issue here is not about the data of the user that tested positive, but the violation of the privacy of everyone else who was in contact with the user. By contrast, our platform can verify and validate positive test ID and then use a token to send out alerts to exposure log anonymously directly from a user device. Third, and perhaps the most critical aspect, is that any contact tracing solution needs to be adaptable. This means avoiding point of failures. We see several major issues with current attempts at contact tracing. To just list a few. One, many apps requires users to register with Central Health Authority to get started. This is not only creates privacy issue, but also complexity as users in proximity might not be registered to the same health authority. Two, some approaches require adding COVID-19 specific features into device operating system. This is unnecessary, plus it adds additional pain of dismantling. Citizens may be concerned that once functions get implemented in my phone and yours, it will not go away, which may inhibit adoption. Third, apps that save tracing logs on a central system need to connect with that system frequently to pull information. This creates a heavy load on network, causing all sorts of issues. I'll conclude by saying that hybrid edge cloud compute was developed for data exchange and transaction in private manner with ability for central oversight to curtail any abuse of our communication system by bad actors. The solution can work seamlessly across health authorities, technologies, and networks, and most importantly, by eliminating the need for sending or saving contact tracing history on central systems. We can protect citizens' privacy and avoid network loads and implement a truly scalable solution across Canada in health sector and others. As I have mentioned today, adoption, anonymity, adaptability are three important A's of contact tracing. Every citizen deserves a solution with this AAA rating. Thank you, and I will be happy to answer any questions.
Contact tracing technology could well lead us down a slippery slope. And I think that is what the folks from Mimik were talking about. In several places where these applications have been developed, there's nothing to indicate just how long the application will be around for, how long any information collected from it will be used, or who around the world will be able to use it. So to Mimik, I asked this question. I understand you've also developed an application that's supposed to address the privacy issue, and you've spoken of that, but Canada's Privacy Commissioner recently issued a joint statement with regards to contact tracing applications. To highlight the points of what they say, they said the government should be clear about the basis and the terms applicable to exceptional measures. Canadians should be fully informed about the information to be collected, how it will be used, who will have access to it, where it will be stored, how it will be securely retained, and when it will be destroyed. So my question is the following: are you aware of any government anywhere in the world that has embraced the principles that the Canada's Privacy Commissioner has said? And I'm also concerned what happens if there's a breach of one of these applications. Who is it that would be responsible?
All right. So we believe that the best approach is for me as the end user to have control over my data, and I choose who to share it with, how to share it with, and also whether you have the right, or the person who used that data have the right to copy that data or not. We believe that there should be a policy to actually provide a fine and other matters for anyone who breached that data right that consumers are demanding. And that's what we're enabling with hybrid edge cloud, where the information should stay safe on device, and with the key that user has can provide permission to access for any application to use it. Have I answered your question?
At the end of April, a privacy expert and fellow at the Berkman Klein Center for Internet and Society at Harvard University told the media that his problem with contact tracing applications is that they, and I quote, have absolutely no value. Putting privacy aside, these applications don't accomplish what they're set out to do from their perspective. Why then should Canadians be putting their privacy at risk if this is unproven technology that may not accomplish as much as people are saying? Perhaps IBM, could you take a run at that? Eric?
Sure. So this is when he says contact tracing, I'm assuming it's proximity tracing that we're talking about, what Mimik was talking about. I think the position that we've taken is very much it's a consent model, much to what Faye said. You as the end user should have the decision on whether your data, you opt in or opt out. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next round of questions goes to MP Lambropoulos. You have 6 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to all of our witnesses for being here with us to answer our questions. So my first question is actually going to go to Google Canada. So obviously protecting Canadians and the privacy of Canadians should be the priority. And in a statement that that you and alongside with Apple issued earlier this month, you did mention that that there are strict guidelines in order to protect the privacy of Canadians. Can you please go into detail about what has been put in place in order to protect the privacy of Canadians?
I think you'll hear a lot that I'm about to say that echoes what Madame Arjomandi just said, which is when we're talking specifically about the exposure notification API, there's on-device collection of information that is not shared without the consent of the user. They first have to take the step to download an app and then give permission for that information to be collected. But importantly, the information that's collected about their location is actually anonymized and randomized so that it's not associated with the individual or the device, but rather is a reference point for public health authorities if there happens to be a person that has been notified that they're COVID-19 positive. So throughout the process, we're taking specific steps to provide information about the proximity contact of individuals without actually sharing the personal information of those individuals or creating a long-term record about their either their travels or their location. And I'd also like to follow up by underlining that we've made an explicit commitment both with the exposure notification API as well as the community mobility reports to shut those programs down once public health authorities have signaled that this current crisis is under control. Now, it's up to public health authorities, and I don't think we have a definite timeline on that, but we have made that commitment to alleviate any concerns about this being a long-standing complication on your device.
And Madam Arjomandi for Mimik?
Yes, absolutely, we support it. In fact, in 2017, we published a digital manifesto, digital freedom manifesto about personal data. And a few months ago, we published consumer analytics or data robbery, because we believe that data belong to us. In fact, it should be treated as form of an income for us versus just generating income for others. And also we believe that we're facing not only data privacy, but data piracy. And consent is not enough. We need to be engaged with our data and given permission of use of data every step through.
So that having been said, and you were referring to a triple A rating for privacy, and I understand that Google had the opportunity to elaborate on what their privacy safeguards were. We didn't have a chance to hear from you specifically on that issue. Could you elaborate what the privacy features are in your app?
Sure. So with hybrid edge cloud platform, again, the data resides on the device itself. It gets calculated on device. We don't send location information to cloud. Basically, we measure proximity on device level, and we do proximity mapping using hybrid edge cloud. So I know there were two devices close to each other, but I don't know who that device belonged to and where the location of that device has been. And that's the most important thing. And we provide visibility to the end user to decide which data at which point they want to share with which healthcare provider. And they have the control to say whether the healthcare can copy or can keep the data, or they want to, basically they have only access and view to that data. And these are basically the only way that I, as a citizen, would use an application like this, and I would recommend it to my parents and my sibling and my loved one. Otherwise, I, as a technologist, would be the first one to avoid using such technology. And also there should be an actionable. I mean, once I have the contact tracing, there should be an action, and there should be an incentivization to share some data. Incentivization should not be with advertising, but should be, for instance, with healthcare service offering, that in case I get sick, something that I receive in terms of care and support, that now I'd be willing to share some information with the right person and right point of contact.
We, in our most, sacred civil duty, we get 66% and 17 million. How we're going to ensure that we can get to 21.5 million?
Because it's my health and it's important for me, and also it's about suspicious to existing system. We all know that no data gets deleted on internet. I buy something from Amazon shopping and I come to YouTube and I see the video of what I was looking for. So we know that nothing is getting deleted.